Mara stock, MSTR stock, massive sale. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys structures. I'm going to show you guys some articles. I'm going to show you guys straightforward in a simple way what I mean. First of all, right? A lot of the fear in the market right now that caused the big dip that we've been seeing, kind of just trying to recover over the last week, basically. We got some new news, right? So, tariff. White House reportedly waives agricultural exemptions for Mexico and Canada, and then you have the cars. Car tariffs were lifted or something like that for like a month. So that's causing a little bit of a an easier environment to go off of, right? And then Bitcoin, we have that summit coming up soon, right? Bitcoin is pumping up a little bit due to some anticipations of what could be covered in the summit, right? So as of right now, it's a lot of rumors. I'm not really gonna get into them because they're just rumors. But let's see what we got here. We got I think I saw something earlier about what the expectations were, but you guys can research it yourself. There's some hype, pretty much, for this summit coming up, and then there's word that something about Bitcoin reserve likely to be mostly Bitcoin. We already know that though. Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to make up the majority of it. The question is though, is Bitcoin going to be equal to Ethereum, or is it going to be much more aggressively larger within that fund, right? So that's just something to keep an eye on, right? And then nothing has changed with the supply and demand on Bitcoin. We have demand still very much outweighing supply, even with the recent dip we've had. Retail is really short right now, but institutions are buying in the background. It just doesn't get any more clear than that, right? And then in order to look at MSTR and Mara to show you guys what I mean by this on sale, that we've been on sale in these stocks for a while. But if you guys take a look, right? I said this many times before. If it can load, I'll show you guys. So we're in the same thing where from all the way back here where we saw it's not loading. Okay, we had a big rally, then we consolidated for a while to factor in that rally. Within this time, used to have a lot of institutional adoption, even though retail is feared out and scared. Institutional adoption with some interest rate fears, and now we had another big rally, consolidation to factor in that rally. During this time, retail is scared, but institutions keep acquiring more Bitcoin. But this time around, we have states acquiring in the US more Bitcoin and creating a stronger foundation. We were starting to push up higher with some US economic data, both jobless claims and some other stuff. But then we had the Bybit hack happen, and then we had the tariff fears happen. And we're still sort of kind of shaking that off, even though we have a little bit of positivity. There's some negotiations that are trying to build up. So I'm not gonna say tariffs are over, but there is a lot of pressure to try to ease the effects of these tariffs, right? And the next thing you know, coincidentally, like one tariff got pushed out for a month. And it's just like I said before in many videos, like this isn't something that's gonna last forever, and it's something that always eventually gets resolved or just ease out of it a little bit, or there's some kind of negotiation that happens, and next thing you know, the fear starts to disappear and everyone forgets about it. Next thing you know, we start moving towards the structure that we were at previously. And we are super discounted on Bitcoin. This translates over into MSTR Mara, right? We had the CME gap fill completely. CME gap fill, basically, we're done with. That's in the past. Now we're just trying to move up higher, try to navigate through these tariffs and how we can potentially see inflation impact. Recently, just very much recently, we had new jobs report come in much less than half of what was expected. So this is going to make it a little bit more interesting for the next Federal Reserve meeting for rather they're going to cut rates or keep it the same, or what's going to happen. We got a few more reports that are going to be coming out in the future to kind of have a better expectation of that. But this structure got ruined in a good way due to the tariffs, but now we're in super discounted levels, causing so much sales going on in some other MSTR, BitU, Mara, and we maxed out. Before we even dipped down, I said, well, if we continue to dip down and show weakness, this next supportive area in red would be the way to go. And it can potentially obviously be maxed out. We've seen these areas maxed out here, here many times in the past. It usually tends to happen. Guess what? It happened again. And now we're trying to push up higher. Recently, this is going to make sense in more MSTR in a moment. But recently, so far we have a higher low forming. Can we make a higher high from here? If we can fill in, if we can hit this 1 week liquidity at 95K, break past it, and try to push up higher into this green area, we'll create another higher high. So as of right now, we pumped up, we go down, we trying to see if we can go up higher. So it's going to be a very, very important point to determine if we are going to be confirming an uptrend or if we're just going to maybe stabilize a bit. Maybe we can come down and test some other areas. Take an eye on that, right? So far, 120 moving average has acted as a very strong support here and here. We had the price pump up, maxing out this retracement area, overlapping the imbalance areas perfectly. We came back down. We were finding support, ruined by tariff news. So we came down lower, found support at the next area down in this imbalance. Down here, we have a retracement area filled perfectly right to the bottom. And then we started pushing up higher, filling in this other imbalance right here. We had this retracement area was acting a little bit as a retracement, right? But the 120 or retracement area acted as a little bit as a resistance. The 120 held it strong, and now we pushed past it. The next area to really keep an eye on is this area right here. If we can fill in this area past the 1 week liquidity, push up higher, we can form an uptrend confirmation. So far, the RSI isn't showing to be extremely overbought, but we can definitely see a little bit of downside pressure as we approach that summit, or we can see some more consolidation, a little bit more of a push higher leading towards the summit. And then if expectations are met, which expectations are pretty high right now, then we can see like a sell the news kind of thing happen. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen within the next 2 days. It's very, very important, right? If we do come down, we just have a few things to look at. We have the 120 as potential support, and then we have some more imbalances right here that I will draw out if we do get a rejection and start breaking below the 120 moving average. But we'll see what happens on that, right? But the real part of this video, you guys already know I've been buying BitU quite aggressively. And if we do see weakness, maybe some more fear comes out or something crazy like that, like I'm going to be buying more. But right now I have a pretty good position. This is currently my fair value with it. I plan to add more if we see continued weakness. But as of right now, super discounted. I can't be any more thankful than being able to accumulate at these discounted areas, because soon enough fear will fade away. Fear fades away, and not just that, but you have super discounted levels where Bitcoin is super discounted. A lot of that's being bought up in the background, and it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. So that's why we're seeing 91K being tested right now. We'll see what happens throughout the next 2 days. But right here, right, MSTR, first thing. I'm going to do the same thing. Everything I'm going to do in order going into tomorrow, right? To keep it super simple, right? Before the fear really kicked in, we had an imbalance right here acting as strong support, and so on, right? We were starting to break out of it to try to push up higher and try to break over that 120 moving average. Instead, the fear of Bybit and especially tariffs ruined this structure. We were getting ready to start pushing up higher and move into this area, but instead it got ruined, right? So what does that mean? That means I created another supportive area down here to represent deep value, and a super clear, in my opinion, is buying opportunity that just shouldn't be overlooked. It doesn't get any more simple than that, right? So instead, right, we don't have any clear indications of how low the price can go. Instead, actually, right here, my mistake. There's actually a big gap right here. Usually, a pretty good imbalance tends to act as a potential support in the future if we're above it. Next thing you know, check it out right here. So it's at 237. Guess what? 237. We used it as strong support. So actually, pretty nice to see. And that's within this deep value, no-brainer buying area. Next thing you know, we broke up from it and we pulled back down. Then I said I made a video on it just recently, and I said when we were down here, I'm like, this is a great buying opportunity. We could easily come up back into this imbalance to retest. We broke it. We failed. We couldn't really close above it. We came back down into the red, and I said it just doesn't get any more clear than this. Next thing you know, we go above it, close above it. use it as support, and then we start pushing up higher. Now we're above that 120 moving average, right? So what's going to happen now is that we're going to maybe see some fluctuations. If Bitcoin keeps going higher, we think cool, we go higher. But looking at the current structure right here, right, I'm going to make it super simple with you guys. If Bitcoin starts moving higher, we could potentially see this stock finding its next resistance area, mainly right here. If we pull down, we can either see it find it at this area right here, which, hey, check it out. Coincidentally, boom, it overlaps with the dang imbalance area. Also, where price began to show a little bit of consolidation or push up higher. It doesn't get any more clear than that. If we do see Bitcoin show too much weakness because of tariffs, you can easily see this being broken and back into the red. If we go into this red area, it doesn't get any more clear than that, guys. I just, what a sale! What a sale! Super clear buying opportunity in this. It's so low. It's so low, and especially if we retest this area. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And then looking at Mara, same thing. We were whoa. Hold on. I'm getting a little bit too moving my mouse around too quickly. We have this long-term supportive line that has been holding up extremely well before all the fear, just like that imbalance in MSTR just before all the fear. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. We were holding that support super well. Deep area of value right here. We were starting to pump higher, trying to pump higher to see if we can break over this descending resistance line. Guess what? Tariff fears, buyback, all that. Push the price even lower, and now we're seeing, boom, this overall structure right here being ruined and causing even more deep value. I kept saying we could potentially see consolidation in this area. Guess what? We're seeing that. And I said if the price comes, if it breaks below this, like this is a no-brainer buying opportunity. Everyone, in my opinion, should be adding on as we, especially under 50. I've said this before. Under $20, amazing buy. Under 15, no brainer buying opportunity. We saw it come down, create a big gap right here, a little bit of imbalance, right? We come down lower, trying to consolidate a little bit. We were well below this area right here. It doesn't get any more clear than that. Next thing you know, we're starting to pump higher instead of we're trying to respect this area right here. So far, we're trading above the 120 moving average. Same thing with Bitcoin, though. Same thing with Bitcoin. If we consider, this is a little choppier, it's a little bit, it's a lot to look at, right? But if we consider the first move up, so from here, the major move up, come down, closing it out down here. If Bitcoin continues to rally, influencing Mara to come higher, we can finally, soon enough, finally go back over this long-term ascending support line, and we can be back up into above the 15s, back into above this trend line, and then we can start looking at potentially using it as future support. If Bitcoin instead gets ruined, a little bit of fear due to more tariffs, whatever news is going to come out the rest of this week, leading into the second trading week of March, then we can see weakness form. If we see weakness form, we have multiple levels of support. This area here, clear imbalance, a wick came down into. If you guys know me, I don't really like wicks in imbalance areas. It's not good enough. I want to see a candle close in it or close above it to indicate any kind of movement. So far we have this imbalance right here. We have one right here that's going to be really weak. I wouldn't care about it too much. We have a strong imbalance right here. This is under $14. The moment Mara falls under $14, you can expect a floor to happen soon, right? And then if we start pushing down lower, this area got filled right here, but it can be retested once again. And then we can easily, if depending on how aggressive the Bitcoin sell is, the moment we start breaking lower, retesting this low, amazing buy. It doesn't get more clear than that. And if we do, I don't think we will, it's very aggressive. But if Bitcoin just happens to just tank due to some crazy news, or the summit, which is surprisingly bad, or like negative in some way, which I really don't think I don't think that's realistic. We can easily see the price come down into here. I don't think this is gonna happen, but if it does, crazy sale. It's like buying a car like for dollars instead of tens of thousands or whatever the cars cost. So strong support in this area. I don't think we're gonna break down into this area, but if we do, amazing. So far, big Mara is still trading under $20. It's just over $15. I think this is an amazing buying opportunity, and it's showing strength that it does want to keep trading above the 120 moving average. Any weakness, just forget about it. Any weakness, just forget about it. Just have a long enough time horizon. Any weakness, because we're soon enough we're going to be up in this area. Again, if Bitcoin does pump up higher, boom, we're looking at finally, hopefully, if it keeps going higher, maybe it starts testing 100K. We can start maybe seeing Mara around the 16s, trying to see if we can break over this support line, which is currently going to be a resistance. So it's as simple as that, guys. Mara, MSTR, BitU, Bitcoin, it's all just a crazy discount right now. Like when you have an underlying asset that is feared out, it's dipping due to a lot of macroeconomic stuff that actually technically doesn't have or shouldn't have a true say in what Bitcoin does, because it's purely supply and demand, and we still see demand outweighing supply very well, and you see it get hammered because of an outside news influence. It just like that's when you really want to be greedy and accumulate. Look at that. Everyone was fearing out, crazy fear. We were down here. Everyone was freaking out. Next thing you know, boom, we started looking up higher. And we're going to see if we're going to make a new high right here. So we got to give this time. We should have a good idea within the next 2 days leading into this weekend of what we could be potentially looking at. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.